Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. So fast, you can't see me. No, hey, sorry, I'll stop messing around now. Welcome. This video is was a request from somebody who hasn't given me permission to say if they want to be named or not. So we'll just leave it at that as time of recording, and maybe the name of the video will include that person's username if they're okay with it. But basically, they asked for a bit of clarification on a video that I had done previously on a short. Throw it up here now, but you won't need to look at it because this is a fully comprehensive version. Be ready to be bored if you're not into Redstone. So you got yourself a book, you got some bookshelves, you put your book in there and nothing happens. Oh my god, you put your book in there and nothing happens. You take a book out of there and it works. So yeah, basically we're going to be building one of these. It's made up of 3 components, which I said I would explain basically. If you want to close this door off, by the way, I got rid of the observer because it meant that you could use the incorrect combination. So if you do this, it'll lock again after a couple of seconds. So basically I'm going to show you how to do this. So basically when you're on your way in the door, by the way, just to show you this working properly, you would go boom, 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 and then walk through, and the door will close behind you, and the person won't know which book it was that broke the puzzle. You can change the amount of time that it stays open and closes for, and so on and so forth. And basically we're going to break down all of these components. I'm actually organized. Look at this. I've broken up all of the things into different segments to try and explain what everything does here. So we'll get right into it. So part number 1 is going to be explaining how bookshelves and comparators and signal strengths and subtractions work with this right now. So basically comparators, you can make them subtract from each other, which basically means that the signal coming out of this first comparator will have whatever is coming out of this one subtracted from it. So we can actually, if I just get rid of this, you can see that the signal strength is 2 because the last book that went into this bookshelf was on slot number 2. If I put in number 5, you can see that the signal has gone up to number 5, right? So instead of having this big long string of redstone, what we can do is we can subtract value from it, and that's the kind of one of the reasons that you would do that, right? So you can see as soon as I put that comparator back, it lost some signal, and the reason for that is because I've put a number 1 in here. So the reason why this is important is because if we are choosing which book that we want to be affected by, we want to compact all this redstone down a bit so that it looks like this and it's not a big long string of wire like so. And what we'll do is we'll say, so we want the code to be 5, for example. Let's say that that's going to be our correct book. I want the correct answer to come out as 1, which I'll explain in just a second. So if we put in book number 5 here, all right, and we want the signal to come out of here being 1, we want to subtract 4, right? Because 5 minus 4 is 1. So when I put a book in here in the 5th slot, you can see that it is set to 1. And the reason why that is important is because we're going to use this circuit here, which will only turn on if the signal strength is 1. And the reason why that works is because if you give a signal strength of 1 here, this torch turns off, this redstone then turns off, and this block is no longer being powered, so this torch will turn on. And I'll demonstrate that for you now. We put that in, and look, the torch is turned on, right? If we choose any other slot, the torch turns off. The reason why is because now the signal has gone past this block. It's strong enough to reach this block, and it powers this block, which turns off our torch. So this whole circuit is just to check, was the last book that's been used in this a signal strength of 1. So if we combine the subtracting comparators from each other and this here, we can set any value that we want within here very, very, very easily. Now over here I've used a hopper because I find it easy to know that, like for a hopper, for example, 1 slot in here has a redstone strength of 3. This would have 6, this would have 9, this would have 12, and this would have 15, which is the max. So if this was totally full up, you'd see a signal strength of 15 in here. Now you can use a bookshelf as well. So if you want to subtract, like I said, a different value, it would subtract 2 from this value, and this is 5, so on and so forth. Alright, so I hope that bit was clear. You don't need to understand too much about this, just know that if you turn this light on a comparator, it means that it's in subtract mode, and whatever is coming in from the side here will subtract from the total, right? With this circuit here, we want a value of 1 so that this turns on. A comparator clock is just something, if you give it a little signal and you turn it off, you can see it counts down 11, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your door would close, right? So that's the reason that we use that. It acts as a delay, so it takes a redstone signal in here and you turn it off again, and this is your door staying open for a couple of seconds. Now you saw that over here, I have the same sized one, it stays open for quite some time. You want to make it a little bit shorter, make it a little bit shorter. So you put this in here instead and you turn it on, and instead of it being on for as long as it was just now, see it counts down a lot faster because the signal is less comparators to go through right now. So it just depends on how long you want your door to be open. So that was pretty quick. We've talked about how bookshelves work, how this exact signal strength thing works, and how subtracting comparators work in this thing here. And another thing then, a very important thing obviously to make all this work, is the Jeb door. I feel kind of weird talking about this because it's like 10 years old. So you put in your book right here and you can see that it opens quite slickly, and if we remove one here, you can see that the pistons and the bookshelves get pushed into position and they close again. So it's a cool looking door. How have we done it? Well, why are these sticky pistons here being powered? And the reason why is because when these components were initially made, they were given the same code as a Minecraft door. So anything that would affect a door will affect the block as well too. So this is just an observer with something on top of it to observe. So when I do this, you can see that the door opens and closes really quick because it receives a pulse. And then when I do this over here, and there's an empty space here, it turns on and off real quick. And it's because the game sees this as too tall, and it's what's called Quasi Connectivity. And you can do this as well. You can this is how you B.U.D power things. So this sticky piston is actually B.U.D powered, which means a block update detector. And if I break this now, if I break a redstone component, it'll cause a... Oh, 1 second. Nope, not kill everything. Set the time today. So if I break this now, because this piston is B.U.D powered, it'll actually extend, if you see this now. And if I place it down again, nothing will happen because this block is powered. If I unpower it, it's still B.U.D powered because a block update hasn't happened here until we break this redstone. So that's how that works. And basically, if you do this, it'll affect the door, right? So that's how these lower sticky pistons down here, that's how these are being powered when they're not actually being physically affected, because the game thinks that they are too tall, basically. And now, kind of the last thing, the last important part of the Jeb door is, let's say our door is like this. It's open. We're about to walk through, right? Here's the floor. And we're about to walk through our open door, and then it's going to close afterwards, just to let you know what part we're looking at right here. So you power this, right? And now it's blocked off, and now you want the bit to extend again. So here we are. You can see this now. These are these blocks here. And I'll just see, it pulls in and then retracts like that, right? And the important thing here is that if you want this to retract again, you can't move extended pistons. So these pistons are extended out right now, and if we try to pull them back, they get left behind, right? So you have to pull this back in first and then close it off like so, right? And it won't work otherwise. So how we achieve this is by putting a delay so that these ones on the outside retract second, right? And that just means that this gets turned on first, and then this gets turned on second. So we'll see that in action, right? This gets turned on first. Nothing happens. That's fine because it will get powered when it moves out. And when you push this on, it powers, right? And then we want this to unpower again first. So that unpowers, and then this unpowers. And again, if you do it the other way around, and we do this first, nothing will happen. And we can actually see that in action. I'll just change the delay on these repeaters, and let's actually see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. It just might. And yeah, there you go. So they get stuck because this was unpowered, but by the time these retracted, this was still extended, so that it didn't have time to pull it out of the way. So you got to put a bit of a delay on it. You could probably put less of a delay on it, I guess. We can figure that out right now. Let's see. Yeah, so that's even a little bit quicker. Just 2 ticks is enough. And you must power this centerpiece in the middle. And then to escape, so you've just walked into your room here now. We're going to do this. So we're on the inside of your secret room or whatever it is right now, right? And this door is going to close off. You need to have a way out, obviously. So I've done it with pressure plates here, but you could do it with loads of different ways. And basically this just comes up here. It turns this torch on, this torch off, and then it powers this block of comparators. And the same thing happens. It's the exact same part of it here. So you walk forward, this powers that, and as you can see here, it counts down 11, same as before. Maybe it's a little too long, maybe you want it a bit shorter. Just remove some of the comparators, as you saw right here. So I was really proud of myself for being super prepared for this one now, and I said I wasn't going to do any improv stuff, but now look, I'm doing some improv stuff. So look, here is your kind of tutorial style thing. So we're going to take a comparator. This is your input chiseled bookshelf here, and we're going to put 2 points for the signal 1 and signal of too much, basically, because this is your 1 and this is your too much, right? So I'm just going to grab these components as well. And over here you're going to put in your subtraction, and your subtraction can be whatever you want. It can be a hopper, it can be a chiseled bookshelf, it can be a slice of cake, it can be whatever you want it to be. Just make sure you put it in subtract mode on this one, and we'll subtract 1, right, as an example. And that means that 2 right here is going to give us the correct signal, right? So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to put down a torch, and then down here I'm going to go out further, and we're going to go here and here, and you want to put a repeater, and then into a block, torch on top, and then a dust. And the reason the target block is used is because it'll go from here to here, and you can see this door would be open because we've entered in the right book. Now if I put this in here, torch turns off and our door closes off anymore. You have not used the correct passcode anymore. So yeah, basically that is kind of already it. It just depends on how you want to make your room look or whatever it is. So we'll have this guy come here, and do this like this. And now this is your stay on part, right? So when we put the right book in now, if we do this for number 2, yeah, you can see this is switched on. And then we want to reset the code, so we put this in here, and I'll start counting down 3, 2, 1, and the door will close again. And then you want to build your Jeb door. So we'll have this redstone come out over here. Put a torch on because we want it to be the opposite way around when the door is, because this is off, so basically we want to have it the opposite way around, that when the door is open correctly, the redstone is unpowered. So we're going to split those up, and then put your dust there, as you can see, and then we'll go this way, this way, this way. This isn't going to look pretty, I'm just building it for you so that you can see, and then we'll go Where do we want the... So let's go here, here, and here. These are your bits, and then here is going to be this bit. Okay, so interestingly, the way that I've built this now, it's not really going to work. So we'll put the torch over here instead. So here's your Jeb door, for example. This is the bit. I'll just show you this now. This is the shape of it. So you've got this these 2 bits on the side, this 4 in the middle, and then these 2 bits on the side separated by a repeater. So you can see this here now. The important bit is that the core, these 4 blocks here, need to be powered before these 2 blocks here, because you saw what happens if it's the other way around. These blocks get left behind when you power them, like so. Alright, so we're going to bring this down here. Right, maybe bring it down wherever you like that you want to do this, and then put it in here, and we'll go bum 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 bum, and now this is working correctly, basically. And we can see that now. I'll just grab a sticky piston. I'm going to unpower it, so it's just a little bit easier to build. You can see that is unpowered. And I'm going to put a sticky, 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 right? Just like that, just in that pattern. You know, sticky, 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 sticky. And then you can put whatever you like. I don't know if you can move chiseled bookshelves actually, or not. So I'm just going to grab regular bookshelves and put them here. And now when we put the right or wrong book in, oh, sorry, hang on, I have to put it in here. Our door locks, and that's it. So look, yeah, like I said, they're on the wrong levels. It looks messy or whatever, but the idea is that you just know how to put the components together, what's really important. I'm trying to answer some troubleshooting questions before they arrive, if you get me. You could have it up higher. You could have the ground down here and have the secret bookshelf, you know, like it's just a mixture of you know, fake ones, red herrings or whatever, you know, just have them down there, and it's this slot on this bookshelf that opens the door. So we're down here and boom, it opens. And then the same thing, yeah, and you want to, again, I keep forgetting to do it for the example's sake, but once you put the right book in, you want to mess with the other one so that it closes behind you as well. Otherwise it'll just stay open. That's actually why I got rid of the observer in the original video, because I thought it would just confuse people, because technically with an observer it'll notice the signal change, and it'll notice that if you put a book in the wrong slot it'll update as well. So I got rid of the observer in this version, and it works like this. So yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, this video was requested by a certain somebody, and maybe they'll be mentioned, or maybe they won't, depending on whether they're happy to be mentioned or not. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this helps. Do let me know if you build it or if you have any questions, and chat to you soon. Thank you. Take care. All the best, and bye bye.